Hi there, I'm Jamie Reynolds. Bear with me, I have a massive head cold, a little under the weather, but today I'm going to be talking about my lesson plan number 3, and it is going to be a reading intervention, a pre-vocabulary lesson, which I will start with just simple material. I don't have a whiteboard. So I'm going to have this huge piece of paper as my example. Pre-vocabulary. Here's my book. We have 5th, 6th grade level, Lost in Outer Space. And pre-vocabulary meaning I'm going to pull words out of the story chapter by chapter that I think that kids would stumble over. My small groups for this wouldn't need to be. It could be a little bit bigger. It could even be the whole classroom. It's a great way for them all to be engaged in looking out for these words to truly understand some of the meanings. And for the children who need extra time and individualized learning, definitely would be something that you do smaller groups or just one-on-one. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with, I'm going to provide a description, explanation. I'm going to pull out words daily on each chapter. So as for my example, for the first day, the first chapter would be the word Sputnik. How many times have you ever heard that word? Not very often. We're going to read the definition to the class. And then I'm going to have the class read it back to me. And then give me examples of what they think a Sputnik might be. So it's kind of an open floor. So people can bounce ideas, what they first think it is, and then what they think it is after they've heard the definition. And then I will ask the students to draw me a picture of like anything that comes to mind to them, how they're going to remember what a Sputnik is. Even like getting into like day 2, there's asteroid. I want to get into day 3 because it's a simple word, but the word pool in this case is not a swimming pool. So it's something that I pulled out of this book to bring up because it's actually about a pool of qualified people to become astronauts. So they were competing. And that's something that, you kids might draw a swimming pool as their picture, just so they can remember what it means, that it actually doesn't mean a swimming pool. Then just by engaging the students with the pre-vocabulary, when they hear the word before, you can almost like give a little bit of a game, and the first person to raise their hand when they hear that vocabulary word gets some sort of like reward system. That means they're paying attention when you're reading. And then I will have them, after we go over the vocabulary words, they've repeated it to me and they draw the picture, I will have them discuss it with their group that they're in or their neighbor who they're sitting next to, what they drew, why they drew that symbol, to remember what that word means. Because writing a vocabulary word out of a dictionary is so old school, and it's so hard to remember what it actually means and what you use the word for when you're going to actually use it. And then, so I've got to day 4 here, right? The day 4 would be engineer. This is the vocabulary for it. A person who designs and builds and maintains engines and machines and structures. Sorry, I wish I had a big board. And that on day 5 would become an even bigger game with the classroom. You pair them up in groups, and the first group to use all those vocabulary words that you in a like full paragraph, and it could be a silly paragraph or whatever. there's also some sort of like prize, a reward system if they used all the words correctly in that paragraph together. But making it a group thing so that it's fun. And sometimes it's easier to remember when you hear somebody else might have another idea of how to remember what that word actually means, which is why I think doing it in a little bit bigger of a group is easier when it comes to vocabulary versus just the reading part. Reading, when you're struggling, you need that one-on-one. But again, if there's someone who needed the one-on-one, there's definitely time to just take them to the side, and they might be too shy, and see what they're drawing and what the symbols they're using to remember what exactly this means. And so, yeah, that's my lesson plan today, is pre-vocabulary.